For generations, the moon has always been the inspiration of poetry, and countless myths woven from the moonlit nights. So is poetry and reality. Join Paffluent to learn about the moon, our nearest object scientifically through this video. That moon is our closest neighbor, the second brightest object on the solar system. We all know that moonlight is essentially a reflected sun and that humans have set foot on the moon. But the moon still retains many mysteries. Where did it come from? Can we live on it? One. The moon and the origin of the moon. The origin of the moon is still a big question for humans. There are many major origins talking about the origin of the moon. The theory of dichotomy suggests that the moon was once part of the Earth. The theory of absorption says that the moon once wandered in the universe until gravity pulled it back. There is another theory that the moon gathers from asteroids or the rest of the Earth's collision with an unknown-sized planet Mars. The moon has a radius of 1,738 kilometers, approximately 0.7 radius of the Earth, 6,371 kilometers. The average distance from the moon to the Earth, 384,400 kilometers, is approximately 0.00250, 10 will equal 150 million kilometers. The actual duration of light traveling from the Earth to the moon takes 1,225 s. The distance between the Earth and the moon to the sun is 8.28 minutes light. The cycle rotates more slowly than the Earth, so it does not bulge at the equator, so it is spherical. The mass of the moon is 7,349 times 1,022 kilograms. The moon has a diameter of 3,476.2 kilometers, 0,273 Earth, with a surface area of 3,793 times 107 square kilometers, 0.074 Earth. The moon is a fairly massive object, but compared to the Earth it is still lost. The moon weighs only 1/8 times that of the Earth. Therefore, the attraction of the moon on the Earth is smaller than the attraction of the Earth on the moon. By the number, the lure of the moon is only 1/6 of the Earth's gravity. Therefore, moving on its surface is really a difficult thing. Low gravity, a person's inertia is high, so moving on the moon is not easy. Two. The inner structure of the moon. The moon may have a very small core, accounting for only 1 to 2% of the moon's mass and a diameter of about 420 miles, 680 kilometers. It seems that the core is mostly composed of iron, but may also contain large amounts of sulfur and other elements. The outer shell of the core is about 825 miles, 1,330 kilometers, thick and has a dense density of rocks rich in iron and magnesium. Magma in the core shell goes up to the surface and erupts for more than 1 billion years, starting at least 4 billion years ago and ending less than 3 billion years ago. Three. Composition of the surface of the moon. The upper crust has an average thickness of about 42 miles, 70 kilometers. The outermost layer of the upper shell was bombarded and mixed in due to the massive collisions. That area helped preserve the integrity of the underlying material about 6 miles, 9.6 kilometers, away. 4. Interesting things about the moon. When the sun goes down, the moon usually rises, but it is important to note that the illuminated part of the moon always faces the sun because the sun illuminates the moon. The moon's orbit is not in the same direction as the Earth's orbit, so it never grows in a fixed direction. So when the moon is round, when it is missing, sometimes it disappears, even rising during the day. The moon orbits the Earth in an orbit almost circular. It takes about a month to orbit the orbit. Every hour, the moon moves from its base by an arc approximately the size of its angular diameter, which is about 0.5 degrees. If the world witnessed the event has gone down in history, it is a small step for a man, but a giant step forward for humanity. On July 20, 1969, the American Apollo 11 spacecraft took man to the moon for the first time. Astronaut Neil Armstrong's first steps were filmed and broadcast live on Earth. According to estimates by the U.S. Space Agency NASA, then there were about 530 million people watching the historic landfall on the moon. Neil Armstrong, the world's first astronaut, set foot on the moon. Dark areas of the moon. The moon takes about 27.3 days to complete its orbit around the Earth, and it also takes that much time to orbit its axis. An interesting phenomenon called this gravity lock accidentally caused us to see only 59% of the surface of the moon. The remaining 41% is still a mystery. However, that does not mean that the other half of the hemisphere is always dark. When the moon goes into orbit between the Earth and the Sun, astronomy is called the new moon phase. To put it simply, it was on the first days of the lunar calendar when we couldn't see the moon, at which point the other half of the moon would be illuminated by the sun. The moon of our closest neighbor is as mysterious as it is. It is associated with human life. From the very beginning its light has captivated us, but when we look closely we will see an endless source of myths, arguments, and mysteries. An invisible power is drawing the Earth closer and closer. The moon is an illusionary and miraculous light source, a crystal so close to us that it can affect our own bodies and functioning. Hopefully the information we provide to you above will help people have a more comprehensive and complete view of this close friend of ours. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. If you feel that the video is not good, please comment by commenting on the comment section to help Paffluent identify and correct it for the next time.